NASCAR Cup Series Championship coming up on KSHB 41 on Sunday. We're down to the Final Four. We got two of us here, Mick Shaffer and Todd Palmer here, to hear from all four of those drivers. Todd, we got to start off with Ross Chastain. He's the talk of the racing world, maybe the sports world, after that physics-defying spin around the wall in Martinsville.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you got to go check it out. I mean, he literally just put himself into the wall and never came off the gas. It was like something you'd see in a video game. He knew when he was coming onto that back straightaway, he needed to pass at least two guys, but there was nobody in front of him. So he just had to do what he had to do to get in that Final Four.
There's science teachers being interviewed about how that's
right.
possible, but he made it happen. And here's Todd's interview with Ross Chastain.
We're joined now by, I mean, I guess at this point, the man, the myth, the legend, Ross Chastain. First of all, I'm sure you've had to answer this question a million times this week, but take me back to Martinsville and at what point did you decide, like, you know, damn the torpedoes, this is my only chance, we're doing this?
It was on the last lap. We came off turn 4 and I realized that no caution or no really scenario was going to give us an opportunity to make up the spots we needed to. And I double checked in turns 1 and 2 on the final lap that we needed 2 spots. I was pretty sure that was the case. And my crew chief said, yeah, need 2, got to get them. And when I left turn 2, I never questioned it. It was in my head from the previous straightaway. And I grabbed high gear and fully committed to the wall. I mean, it's wild that thinking back through it, that my brain processed that and decided that, because it wasn't something that I had prepared for or planned. Like, NASCAR is such a preparation-based sport where the races are won at the race shop, and we drive simulators now, and we fine-tune these race cars to be the best they can be. And then literally in the course of 10 total seconds, about from the time I first thought of it to the time I executed the first move of grabbing 5th gear and holding it wide open, was 10 seconds. And in that time, everything else went out the window. And I fully committed to doing what we did. And for some reason it worked.
I mean, had you ever even done that in iRacing? I've heard a lot of guys refer to it as like a video game move, you know? I mean, is that something that you had done at Martinsville, you know, just goofing around on a video game?
Not with any, no, not like I did it. I've never fully committed and done that. I mean, really the last time I've ever done anything like that was growing up. My brother Chad and I had a GameCube, and it was a 2005 NASCAR game, and you could turn damage off and all the driver assists off, and you could just run around the wall at a few tracks. And we did that, and he did it to me first and showed it to me. And it's wild that it has not popped back in my head to ever try it, practice it, like see what it would be like on iRacing or our manufacturer simulator with Chevrolet. It's can do all this stuff, and yet I've never even thought about trying it. So it makes it even wilder for me now to sit here and say, like, yeah, I tried it and I had no idea what was going to happen.
What was your brother's reaction? Since, you know, I mean, I guess he was the inspiration in some ways.
He, like everybody else, he didn't believe that I had never practiced it up here on our simulators. I'm on that thing weekly, and I have been since 2018. I've been every week in the simulator, and whether I was driving trucks, Xfinity, or Cup, I was honing my craft and practicing. Actually, with the same engineer that I still work with on the one car, we kind of came up the system together from just being kind of guys that didn't go to the racetrack on Sundays to now we're winning races together. And he didn't believe it. He thought that me and Mike, my engineer, he knows both of us well, and Chad thought you guys had to have practiced it, but we honestly never have. And he thought he couldn't believe it either. I don't know that he or everybody else believes me, but I'm telling the truth when, like, this was not pre-planned. This was not ever practiced in any real, you know, virtual way other than the 2005 game.
So do you go to Justin Marks and Pitbull and apologize for running their car against the wall? Or do you say you're welcome for you making that move to get in the championship 4?
I did apologize on pit road to Justin. I hadn't even looked at the car, and I said, man, I'm sorry I tore up another one. And he said, brother, I'll take that any day when you deliver what the reward was to make the Final Four. He was good. Look, we've torn up a lot of stuff this year, and one more right side, a couple wheels, and some suspension. For the reward that we got of transferring through is monumental, and they said they would gladly pay to fix it.
I mean, in some ways, it's a little bit unprecedented. I mean, Martin Truex, and Furniture Row in recent years have, been a single car, smaller team, but they always had alliances, with Gibbs and whoever. For what does it mean for Trackhouse to be in this position and for you to be racing for a championship on Sunday with, a smaller outfit that frankly everybody knows isn't given as much of a chance as some of the big guys?
Yeah, look, we're going through this for the first time. Like, my crew chief, my spotter, and me going into 2022 had never won races in our current roles in the Cup Series. And now our PR staff, our upper management, our front office, our mechanics and engineers on the shop floor and upstairs, we're all going through these playoffs. A lot of people for the first time in their current positions, and now the Final Four. This week has been wild for all of us, and we're experiencing it. And that's what I just keep, I hope, and when I talk to our group, I'm just like, just experience these moments and think about how fortunate we are to feel so excited that we get to go race this weekend, and the fact of the opportunity that we have. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's probably even extra work for our group because we've never done it. We have not been here, so we're figuring it out. So I'm sure one meeting that should have taken 10 minutes is 3 meetings, all an hour and a half each. And I'm sure we will streamline things next year when Daniel and I are both in the Final Four. But for now, we are learning it as we go. But Trackhouse is not that little small team that they were last year. We are a two-car organization that is completely autonomous as far as we are manufacturer supported by Chevrolet. We have sponsors. We have a large shop with everything that we need and all of the people. I mean, we have 150 employees for our 2 cars to go race every Sunday. So we're new, we're new to the current role we are. Trackhouse is different in 2022 than it was in 2021. So this is our first try at this as we are built now, but we, hear me when I say it, we have everything we need and we have the people in place that we want to go to battle with. And we get to do that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have obviously proved it with the performance this year, but are you feeling pressure this week, or are you trying to stay loose, like picking out the right watermelon to take with you to Phoenix, things like that?
You're darn right I'm feeling the pressure, okay? Look, I'm not going to shy away and act like it's just some normal race, just like any of the other 35 we've already ran, right? This one means the most, and we have a chance, right? We've got a shot, and that's all we asked for. So digesting everything that happened in Martinsville, first of all, was a lot, but we've shifted our focus to Phoenix, and my group has done an incredible job this week of allowing me to keep my world and my week as similar to the other 35 as possible. Now, look, about an hour ago, we started media, and today, the rest of today and tomorrow will be about talking about what we've accomplished and talking about this weekend and using this platform that our sport has to talk to as many people as we can. So that's different. We don't do this every week, but now is the time to talk about it. So I've closed the competition box for the rest of today, and then we'll fly to Phoenix tonight, and we will start media out there tomorrow. But going to Friday, we'll be right back to competition, and I won't be talking about it to anybody except my group and how we can make our race car the fastest it can be. So, yeah, there is pressure, and there is nerves for sure. It feels different, and I feel so blessed and fortunate that I get to feel this, that I get to feel so excited to go drive a car this Sunday afternoon out in Phoenix, Arizona, and the possibilities of the feelings that could come after that. But just having a shot at it is all we've ever asked for.
How many times have you watched the clip of Martinsville, and are you prepared to see it probably thousands more times in your life? Yeah,
it's going to be something that far surpasses anything I've done in the past. But what's going to be even sweeter is the fact that it's only the thing that got us here. And now we've got the opportunity of a lifetime in front of us. I've watched it probably 15 times, spread out over a couple days, and 5 of them were in a row, and I just kept replaying it 5 times. And I found after the 5th time, I'm like, I can't comprehend what it looks like. It just looks like somebody sped up my car artificially and not everybody else. So I'm proud of the reach we've gotten for our sport. It's not how I thought. It's not what I thought would be my most memorable moment this year. I thought the wins would be the farthest reaching I could do, smashing the watermelon ride at our first win at COTA. But look, I'm not going to shy away. This is more popular than the wins, and this feels like a win making it to the Final Four.
Yeah. Well, best of luck this weekend, and congratulations.
And so he wasn't. I'm like, that was all intentional, right? He was.
I mean, like he said, it was a decision he made at the end. Like, I mean, he had done it. Like,
so he didn't need to win. He just needed to pass.
Right.
2.
He just needed to pass 2 people to knock Denny Hamlin out. So
that's hilarious. Yeah. Great stuff there, Todd and Ross. All right, Todd. Joey Logano is in the Final Four. He was NASCAR's 2018 champion. Always kind of around that mix, it seems like.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the significance of this for Joey is that there are only 16 drivers in the history of the Cup Series who've ever won multiple titles. And only 3 of those guys have happened since 2000. You're talking about Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch. He can put himself up there in that upper echelon of modern drivers if he can get his second one Sunday at Phoenix.
Let's hear what he had to say with Todd. Here's Joey Logano.
I guess I want to start with the world has changed a lot since 2018, right? I mean, with everything we've been through the last few years. How have you changed as a driver in person since winning your first Cup Series championship back then?
Well, I mean, you're always growing, right? You always want to keep evolving as a person and becoming better every day, right? And 2018 was great. I feel like now today, as a driver, I'm much better than what it was in 2018. As a leader, I'm much better. I understand a little bit better my team, and with that attitude, it's great. I also know I have a long ways to go throughout my career, and hopefully I continue to get better. When I feel like I'm not getting better anymore, it's probably when I need to hang it up. But until then, I can definitely feel confident that I'm better than I was in 2018, and been through a lot since then, right? We all have been, right? Whether it's through COVID or our family growing and teams changing and new cars, and I've just been so many things. So it's been a busy last couple of years, and we're ready to get another championship.
Along those lines, there's only 16 drivers in Cup Series history who've ever won multiple titles, and only 3, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, and Kyle Busch, since I think like 1997 or something like that. So what would it mean to you if you could join that group on Sunday?
I mean, it'd be special, obviously. When we set out in the beginning of the year, it's one goal. It's not, let's get 8 wins. It's not, let's get a certain amount of top 5s. Well, let's just get to the championship 4. It's win the championship, period. No other goal gets talked about. It's just win the big trophy. That is the highest thing you can achieve in our sport. That's what I want. And that's as simple as it is. That's how simple our team needs to be about this. And we are in position right now to go do that again. So we're not satisfied with being in the championship 4. That's not what the goal was. The goal is to win the big trophy, and we're one step closer.
I mean, you've been here 5 times now in the championship 4. Have you learned anything with those past experiences that you think carries over, or is every championship 4 final race just so different that it doesn't matter if you've been here before?
It's pretty similar. It's nice to be here, for a 5th time. Like, you just kind of know how the week goes. You know how to prepare for it. You know the things that are going to be coming your way throughout the weekend, and the pressures, how to deal with the pressures. I mean, that's a real piece of this thing. And having a team that's been here before, a driver that's been here before, that is a huge advantage. And you can't teach it, right? Like, you can't teach experience. You just have to go through it. I remember my first time in this thing, and that was a mess. And now understanding what's coming my way, obviously being more comfortable just kind of comes along with that, right? It's like your first day at school, you're pretty nervous, right? You don't know what's coming around the corner next, but once you've been there all year long, you know what to do. Well, it's a similar situation.
So how do you approach the championship 4? Because, I know you probably try to treat it like a race week. You keep your preparation fairly normal. don't get off schedule as far as some of that stuff goes. But once the green flag drops, I've got to imagine it's hard not to be thinking about those other 3 guys as opposed to, most of the time you're worried about, 35 other guys. So does it change once the green flag drops for you, or does it change at all this week?
Changes the whole week. Absolutely it does. And if he says it doesn't, you're just hiding from the pressure. It's true. It's there. It's part of what we do. It is the moment that we're all want, right? This is the give me the ball moment, right? This is the, let me take the big shot. And hiding from that is not the correct way of doing it, right? That might be how you cope with it to sleep better at night, but you can't hide from this. This is the pressure's there. You're going to see it when you get to the racetrack. You're going to have it during the week. And you have to learn to love it, right? Like you have to love this stuff. And I do, right? This is what we live for. You want to put yourself in positions to do something big in life. And winning a championship, in my mind, is a really big thing in our sport. And I wanted to be able to accomplish that with my race team and with my family and try to do that this weekend. So I love that we have the opportunity. I love that we have the pressure on us. And if you have to embrace that.
As a driver who's never been afraid to do what it takes to win, what did you think of Ross Chastain's move to get himself in this group of 4 with you guys?
Well, I thought it was awesome for one. I was like, holy cow, that was crazy. But there's a but to this one. I'm not sure we want that every week. What we saw there was just amazing, and it looked like it's not even real. And it was something that I've thought of before, and it's something that most everybody watching this has probably done in a video game at one point, because they couldn't make speed at Martinsville, and you put it up against the wall in a video game and it went faster, right? Ross did it in real life. That's crazy. All power to him for doing it. That's great. But there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong and can go wrong with this in the future, right? I don't know how Ross felt after that, right? He got out of the car and he said his eggs were scrambled. So I'd say he probably wasn't feeling the best after that move. I don't know if we want to see 40 cars doing that in the last lap of any race. And it can happen at any track. You say it's just Martinsville. It can happen anywhere. And really change the way a race ends at the end of these things. I don't know if we want to see that every week. I don't think that's how we want to see the sport and the integrity of the sport from that standpoint be. And we also saw it go 100% correct. What if it went wrong, right? What if the car climbed the fence and goes into the catch fence, right? Like, then we have a whole nother set of issues. So we got to do something to fix it. We definitely do. It was awesome. It was super cool for one time. I don't think we need to see it again.
It reminded me of Carl Edwards trying the bonsai move at Kansas a couple years ago when he was desperate to get around Jimmy to try to win at his home track, and it did not work well in that instance.
No, Ross did it times 10 and it worked out.
Yeah. All right. I was talking to, I was like, I don't think that move works as well at a 1.5 mile track like they're racing at Phoenix this weekend. But all right, who wins Sunday at Phoenix, and presumably why is it you?
We win for one. And why is it us? I just told you why. We've been here before. We've had 2.5 weeks to focus in, while others have not. We truly feel that we are in position to win this thing. It's ours to win right now. I really feel that confident in what we're doing and the decisions we've made over the last couple of weeks that we can go out there and be a very strong race team.
All right, Joey, I appreciate it, and good luck on Sunday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's Joey Logano. Todd, Chase Elliott now back in the Final Four. He's no stranger to it, the 2020 NASCAR Cup champ.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this one is if he gets the win, he passes his dad, Bill, who's something of a NASCAR legend. Like before Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along, he was the most popular driver in the Cup Series for the longest time. But he only ever won one. Chase doesn't like to talk about that kind of stuff, but I mean, this is a chance to make his mark and kind of leapfrog his dad.
There we go. Final Four participant, Chase Elliott.
All right. Well, first of all, Chase, congratulations on making it to the Final Four. I know you won the title 2 years ago. So do you feel less pressure this time around, or is it about the same now that you've got one under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I guess, a little different having been there before. I don't really know that helps you at the end of the day, but certainly I think the story of how we got there and being a part of it has been different each year, each of the last 3 years. So that's kind of interesting. I do feel different, I guess, having been a part of it the last couple of years, fortunately. But I don't think any of that really helps you. It's kind of a different thing. I've also gotten 2 years older. Just all those things contribute to the weekend, I guess, and kind of how you view things and think about it.
What would a second title mean for you?
I would imagine it would mean a lot. I think until you get across a bridge like that, it's kind of hard to speculate what it would mean to you. I think you have to live those moments and understand them and be immersed in it to know the feeling. I don't know. I could give you a great big word on how special it would be to me, sure, but I think until you live something like that, I'm not sure you really respect and understand it.
I mean, your first one came, in the middle of the pandemic. It was an odd year for everyone and an odd year for NASCAR and everything like that. So, have you given any reflection to you're going to have a packed house at Phoenix, things like that? Does it feel a little bit more normal? And did it make that first title feel a little surreal given the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly different, but we still got the trophy. So at the end of the day, it was completely fine. With me, obviously, unfortunate circumstance and everything that was going on in the world, but from a competitor's standpoint, we still achieved the goal, right? Like no one was trying any less. It was still very difficult. It was still difficult to achieve, meaningful to check that box. And yes, it is different with having people there. People were there last year, too. So that was good. And it felt normal last fall as well. So yeah, would love to get another one and hope we can do all the things that we need to do this weekend to achieve that.
I mean, how do you look at the other competitors, and how do you look at a race like this? I mean, are you only focused on Joey Logano, Chris Bell, and Ross Chastain, or how do you've had experience in this position before? So do you pay attention to anything else, or is that all noise? You just got to pay attention to Joey, Chris, and Ross on Sunday.
Well, I mean, you certainly are paying attention to those guys, no doubt, but I think you still have a normal understanding of your race weekend, and you're still trying to put yourself in the best position to win. I mean, if you give yourself a shot to win the race, then you're taking care of those three guys too, right? So odds are, with the way the rest of the championship rounds have gone in the past, the winner of the race, you had to win the race in order to win the championship, right? Because the guy that finished second ran second in the event. So will that be the case this weekend? I don't know. I mean, it could be different. But certainly if you're focused on trying to have good pace and give yourself a shot to win, then you're for sure covering those guys too. So does that mean you're going to win? No, but certainly gives you a better chance.
I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. What are your thoughts on the move Ross made at Martinsville just to get into the field?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that for me, obviously, it just thinking about how it affected me selfishly. So, whatever everyone thinks about that and wants to make of it, that's fine. It is what it is. So for me, it's just about thinking about this weekend and what I need to do to be fast out in Phoenix.
Would you ever do something like that if you needed to pass 4 or 5 guys in the last lap at a race like that?
I haven't really put a lot of thought into it, to be honest with you. So it's I haven't really put a lot of thought into it.
I don't think a move like that would work at a 1.5 miles like Phoenix this weekend. So can you handicap that race for me? Like, who's going to win on Sunday and why?
Well, I don't bet on it, so kind of difficult for me to give you odds, but yeah, we'll see. That's why we go to find out.
All right, best of luck.
Thanks.
And last but not least, maybe he is, I don't know, Christopher Bell, he's the newbie to the group. Would you call him, I guess, the underdog in this Final Four?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, he's 27, but he's only really been making a name for himself on the Cup Series.
Been a truck guy for a long time, right?
Yeah. He's a well-known guy on the under series. I mean, I think his first ever NASCAR race actually came like when he skipped his prom to win a trucks race at Kansas Speedway, like back in the day. But this is the first time he's put himself in this kind of position. He's a bit of a wild card, but he's coming off the win at Martinsville. Not that it necessarily translates from a half-mile track to the mile and a half at Phoenix, but he's got nothing to lose too. Maybe he's got a Ross Chastain move in him this weekend because, you know, this could really cement his legacy as a Cup Series driver.
Absolutely. One race for fame. Here's Christopher Bell.
Well, Christopher, welcome. You know, I guess my first question is, like, what does this moment mean for you, man? Because here you are, you're racing for a championship. I know this has had to be a dream of yours for a long time.
Yeah, man, words can't even describe it. Like, I mean, the biggest thing that I can tell you is, as a kid growing up in Norman, Oklahoma, dirt track racing, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that NASCAR was a possibility. There were no NASCAR tracks around. We had to drive several hours if we even wanted to go to a NASCAR race. So it's, you know, just a huge moment for me to be able to have this opportunity and bring a Cup championship, or have the opportunity to bring a Cup championship to so many people that probably never thought that they would, you know, have the chance.
So did you go down to Texas Motor Speedway, or did you come up to Kansas Speedway, or did you have a home track, so to speak?
Yeah, so Texas would have been my home track. I went there a number of times as a kid growing up.
Okay. I mean, so last week, you know, I mean, you know, to win your way into the championship, do you feel like that gives you any momentum heading to Phoenix now? I mean, obviously different tracks, different setups, different everything, but does that, at least, do you have a confidence boost or you know, at least a good feeling coming into this week?
Yeah, I mean, I have a good feeling going into this week because it's a great track for me. You know, I've won a race there in the Xfinity car. Ironically, it was a walk-off win there too, where if I didn't win, I wasn't going to advance into the playoffs, and we were able to do that. So, you know, it's a really fun racetrack and a place that I expect to perform well at.
So how do you approach this week? Because you've never been in this position, right, in the Cup Series racing for a championship like that. And you've got, you know, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, who have been in this position. You've got Ross Chastain, who's apparently insane based on what he did to get in to the championship for last week. So do you just try to keep this week as normal as possible and like kind of shut the pressure of the week out? Or are you kind of embracing it and you know, like hoping that you can rise to the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think competition wise, just trying to keep it the same and go with the flow. You know, I will tell you this: if we did anything different this week for Phoenix, then that means that we weren't doing our job early on in the season, because whether it's the Final Four race or race 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the season, you know, we want to win them all. And so you can't really do anything else. Like, you know, if you do anything else for Phoenix, then that means that you weren't doing your job all year long.
Speaking of Ross Chastain, I've been asking all the guys, like, what do you think of the move he made there at the end to just put the car against the wall and you know, and zoom past, I think, what was it, 6 guys to win his way into the field, or at least, well, not win his way, but make his way into the field?
Yeah, so I applaud him for thinking outside of the box to do it. And, you know, I think a lot of drivers, many drivers across the world have probably done that in a video game or, you know, thought about it, but to actually do it in real life is, you know, it's a nothing to lose and everything to gain type of move. And, you know, I applaud him for trying it and making it happen.
I mean, how aware are you going to be about where you're at relative to Joey, Chase, and Ross on, you know, on Sunday? Because obviously there's going to be 30 plus more cars on the track, but those, in some respect, those are the only three that matter, right? I mean, obviously, if you get taken out by somebody else, it would matter, but those are the three you've got to beat to the line. So,
yeah, I mean, definitely just focused on your windshield and focused on your mirrors. And if they're in the windshield, then that means you got work to do. And if they're in the mirror, that means you're doing pretty good. And, typically the Final Four always rise to the occasion and race for the win, last race of the year. But this year being so unique and so many different winners, I wouldn't be surprised if there's, a handful of competitive cars that are racing for the win at the end of it.
have you allowed yourself to picture yourself in victory lane, being the Cup Series champion, or are you trying to, not worry about, what's at stake this race and, like you said, just focus on the task at hand and making sure that you approach it like you have every other week this year?
Yeah, I definitely am not thinking about winning yet. Just trying to focus on the race itself and let the winning, either happen or it won't.
All right. Well, best of luck in Phoenix, and good luck.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, Todd, handicap it here. Who do you think is going to prevail on Sunday?
Look, during the regular season, Chase Elliott was clearly, I think, the best driver in the Cup Series this year. So I don't think that I think I would give him pretty good odds, but Joey Logano's been here before. He knows what his second would mean. He's also had 2.5 weeks now to focus solely on Phoenix, because since he won early in the round of 8 to get to the Final Four, he didn't really have to worry about the last 2 races. He could focus all his energy and attention on Phoenix. They're going to be ready. But Ross Chastain showed he will do whatever it takes to win a title. I think Christopher Bell, if he wins it, that would definitely be like the dark horse winning it. But, he knows that he's not going to get many opportunities to do this historically. So I think he's going to be highly motivated. It should be a great race on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll find out on Sunday. The NASCAR Cup Series Championship, 2 p.m. right here on KSHB 41, right before football night in America. Then after that, Sunday Night Football with the Chiefs and the Titans. Should be a fun day. For Todd, I'm Mick. Thanks for watching.